Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz. This is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Tuesday, August 27th, 2024. If you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily rundown best bet in the MLB, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Tuesday in Major League Baseball. First up, we see the New York Yankees taking on the Washington Nationals. Garrett Cole and Patrick Corbin are the projected starters. We know Garrett Cole didn't have the best start to his season, but now he's in great form. You look at his last 4 games, 2 earned runs or fewer in all 4 of those starts. And his last game against the Guardians, that's a tough lineup for a strikeout-dependent starter. He was still able to go 6 innings of shutout ball. Wasn't able to miss a lot of bats, and his control was off a little bit, but able to get out of the jams. And I think he pitches well here against Washington. Patrick Corbin on the other side, while he's been better recently, I still think the Yankees can get to him for a few runs early. I like the Yankees on the run line and like him laying 2.5 runs as well. Next up, the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Detroit Tigers. Johnny Cueto and Brant Hurter are your projected starters. You know, Brant Hurter's pitched pretty well so far in his first 17 2/3, 17 strikeouts, only 1 walk given up is pretty impressive. Sub-4 ERA, and I think he has a good outing here against a pretty weak Angels lineup. Johnny Cueto made his season debut against the Royals. It wasn't too bad. I mean, 6 1/3 innings of 3-run ball, but when you look at the sharp contact that the Royals had in that game, they hit a home run, a couple of walks, only 1 strikeout in those 6 1/3, 8 base hits, and a lot of sharp contact. I just think that Cueto going forward, not really the best option for the Angels in that rotation. I think the Tigers can get to him for a few runs. Give me Detroit on the money line and run line. Next up, the Chicago Cubs and the Pittsburgh Pirates in the NL Central. Justin Steele going for Chicago. No official starter for Pittsburgh right now. You know, Justin Steele, we know, is on a roll. He's pitching really well for the Cubs. And the Pirates were a team that earlier in the season was hitting lefties quite well. But now you look at their numbers in the month of August. 21st in baseball in isolated power. 19th in team OPS. So below league average in both. But the real concern is a strikeout rate at 32.5%. Very steep with a low walk rate to go with it. I think Steele puts together 6-7 strong innings. I like the Cubs here on the money line and run line. Next up, we see the Houston Astros taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. Justin Verlander and Aaron Nola, great pitching matchup in this one. And this game's going to be 6:40 Eastern on TBS. This is a tough one, but I am going to lean towards the Phillies right now. When you look at Nola, his last 5 games, 3 earned runs or fewer in 4 of his last 5. His last game was against the Atlanta Braves, obviously a tough lineup. 5 1/3, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts, and a 3-2 Phillies win. Philadelphia's starting to turn around here against right-handed pitching as of late. Their bullpen's starting to turn it around after a pretty rough July. And then when you look on the other side, Justin Verlander, his first start back against the Red Sox after injury wasn't bad. I mean, 5 innings, 2 runs, but he hasn't pitched more than 5 innings in a couple of months. It was in late May, so being 100% is a concern. I don't think he'll go too deep into this ball game either. And I think the Phillies grab this one. So it should be a great game. I think it's going to be a close one, but I'm going to go with the Phillies in the money line. Next up, we see the Kansas City Royals taking on the Cleveland Guardians. Michael Lorenzen and Gavin Williams are your projected starters. You know, I do think after these teams played a doubleheader on Monday that the Guardians' bullpen is a lot deeper, and I think they have the advantage late in the late innings. But when you look at the starting pitching matchup, I think KC has the advantage, and I like them in the first 5. You know, Michael Lorenzen's pitched well with his new team so far. His first 4 games as a Royal, 3 earned runs or fewer in all 4 of those starts. He's got a sub-4 ERA on the season, so while his control may not be the best and his expected numbers may not be the best, he's still pitching well. And I think against a team like Cleveland that doesn't really strike out much, somebody like Lorenzen who doesn't really miss a lot of bats, not necessarily a bad thing. I think as long as he's limiting sharp contact, which he's been able to do this season, keep the ball on the ground and get those double play outs, he should be fine. And I think when you look at Gavin Williams, his last 2 games, giving up 8 earned runs and 2 home runs with 6 walks in about 8 1/3 innings. Both of those were on the road, where he's actually been better on the road this season. Now he pitches at Progressive Field, where he's got an ERA above 8 against a tough Royals lineup. I think KC gets to him for a few runs early. I'm going to roll with the Royals in the first 5 of the money line. Next up, we see the Oakland Athletics taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Mitch Spence for Oakland, no official starter for Cincinnati. You know, Mitch Spence recently has been able to pitch deep into ball games, but still giving up a lot of sharp contact. He's given up at least 1 home run in 4 of his last 5 starts, and he's given up 9 earned runs in his last 2 games combined. I think at Great American Ballpark against a tough Reds lineup, this is not the best matchup for Mitch Spence. Now, I like the way Oakland's playing recently, especially with their bullpen, where in the month of August, they got the second best xFIP in the bullpen in all of baseball. But I do think Spence struggles early. I think the Reds take advantage, grab a win in the end. So give me Cincinnati on the money line. Next up, we see the Minnesota Twins taking on the Atlanta Braves. Spencer Schwellenbach and Simeon Woods Richardson are your starters. These are two solid starting pitching options with two strong bullpens, but I am going to give the advantage to Atlanta in both departments. I think their bullpen is superior. I think Schwellenbach's the better option to start this game. Then it comes down to the lineups. I do think the Twins in the month of August, better numbers against right-handed pitching, but it's close enough for me to take the Braves in this game. I think Schwellenbach puts together a strong outing. I like that bullpen in the end. Give me Atlanta in this one on the money line. Next up, we'll go to Busch Stadium as the Padres take on the Cardinals. Dylan Cease and Miles Mikolas are your starters. To me, it's a lopsided pitching matchup. Even though Dylan Cease wasn't his best in that last game against the Mets, I still think he's a much better option in this game. Mikolas coming off a good outing against the Brewers, but overall this season, still an ERA above 5, an ERA above 6 at home at Busch Stadium, or just under 6 now, 5.94. But I think the Padres' bats are too much in the end. I'm going to go with San Diego on the run line. Next up, we see the San Francisco Giants taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Logan Webb and Tobias Myers are your starters. Now, this is a great pitching matchup in this game, but when you look at Logan Webb, we've talked about how he's been a lot better at Oracle Park this season and really throughout his career than he is on the road. But I still think this is a decent matchup for him. Actually, a really solid matchup for Logan Webb, because while the Brewers are, very solid lineup against right-handed pitching, they are a team that hits the ball on the ground quite a bit. I mean, they have the 4th highest ground ball rate in all of baseball. For a ground ball specialist like Logan Webb, that bodes pretty well for him. And then you add the fact that Milwaukee, even though they've got good numbers offensively, they're near the bottom of the league in a lot of the, in barrel percentage, hard hit percentage, average exit velocity. They don't really hit the ball too hard. That also benefits Logan Webb. So I think he's going to be able to get those pitch to contact outs, those double plays. If he, if he walks a few guys or gives up a couple of singles, I think Logan Webb's going to be able to get out of those jams. And Tobias Myers, while he's pitched really well this season, recently, maybe not the best work. We saw him in the last 2 starts, 9 2/3, give up 14 base hits. Now, only 4 earned runs, but 6 total runs. A couple of walks. His strikeout numbers were inconsistent. I think the Giants can get to him for a few runs. And I've mentioned, I think the San Francisco bullpen is underrated. I'm going to roll the Giants in this game on the money line on the road. Next up, we see the Texas Rangers taking on the Los Angeles Angels. We're going to see Garrett Crochet and Andrew Heaney on the mound, so a pair of lefties in this one. I like the under in this game. I mean, Garrett Crochet doesn't pitch as deep into ball games as he was at the beginning of the season, but I still think he's a solid option for Chicago. And when you look at the Rangers' numbers offensively against lefties in August, not great. So I think Crochet can put together 4 or 5 solid innings. Andrew Heaney's in good form. We saw him go 5 innings, a scoreless ball, 8 strikeouts in that last game against the Pirates. The White Sox in the month of August, miserable numbers against right-handed pitching, miserable numbers against lefties. They're dead last in baseball in OPS and ISO against lefties in August. So give me the under here in Rangers White Sox. Next up, the Miami Marlins taking on the Colorado Rockies. Roddery Munoz and Cal Quantrill are your starters. Now, the issue we've seen in Roddery Munoz's game this year is the home run ball. He's given up a lot of home runs, a lot of sharp contact, and that includes another one in that last game against Arizona. Now going to Coors Field for your Coors Field debut, not really the best spot for a home run, a starter that gives up a lot of home runs. And I think the Rockies can really make him pay in this game. And Cal Quantrill, while it's not been the best second half for him, he's still been a lot better at Coors Field than he is on the road. And I think he's going to be able to give the Rockies 5-6 strong innings. Should be enough to win this game in the end. I think the Rockies bats really show up here against Munoz and the Marlins bullpen. Give me Colorado in this one on the money line. Next up, the New York Mets and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Eduardo Rodriguez and Sean Manaea are your starters. So there's a pair of lefties in this game, and when you look at both of these offenses against lefties in the month of August, they're both top 10 in team OPS, so both having solid months, but the Mets have the big advantage in isolated power. They're ranked 7th in baseball. Arizona's ranked 20th. So when you look at that, then you look at the fact that I think Manaea is the better option. He's been in great form in the second half of this season, striking out more guys recently, 9+ strikeouts in 3 of his last 5. And Eduardo Rodriguez, while he's been profitable in his first 3 games for Arizona, all wins, but they've faced really weak strength of schedule. I mean, the Marlins, the Rockies, and the Guardians, all those teams are near the bottom of the league against lefties in the month of August. So I think that Manaea is the better option. I think the Mets have the better lineup, and I think the Mets have the better bullpen. I mean, even though the Mets bullpen struggled in that last game against San Diego, I still think they're the superior pen in this series. I'm going to roll with New York in this game on the money line. Next up, we see the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Seattle Mariners. Jeffrey Springs and Logan Gilbert are your starters. Two starting pitchers that struggled in their last games. We saw Springs, he wasn't able to get through 4 innings against the A's in a 3-1 Oakland win. Logan Gilbert at Dodger Stadium against the Dodgers, giving up 6 earned runs in an 8-4 Dodgers win. He has not been the best recently, but his struggles have been mostly on the road. We saw the game against the Pirates where he had a quality start, but still ended up being a Mariners loss. The game against the Red Sox at Fenway where he gave up 7 earned runs. We just mentioned the Dodgers game. All those were on the road. He's been a lot better at T-Mobile Park this season with a sub-3 ERA in 78 1/3 innings of work. So for me, I think Gilbert has the better chance of bouncing back in this game. You know, Jeffrey Springs, he has pitched well overall this season, but he also doesn't really pitch deep into ball games. We saw him, wasn't able to get through 4 last time, but even when he's pitching well, like the previous starts against Arizona and Baltimore, only 5 innings apiece. So I think Gilbert honestly has the ability to go 7+ innings in this game, and I think that that's going to give the Mariners the advantage. In a low-scoring game, I think Seattle wins it in the end. So give me Seattle in this one on the money line. I lean towards the under as well. Next up, the final game for Tuesday's card in Major League Baseball, the Baltimore Orioles and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Cole Irvin and Jack Flaherty are your starters. To me, it's another example of a lopsided pitching matchup. I think the Dodgers have the advantage. Flaherty, nice bounce-back start for him in that last game against Seattle. 5 2/3 of 1-run ball with 5 strikeouts. The Dodgers are 3-1 in his first 4 starts with his new team. And on the other side, you got Cole Irvin, who is not really my favorite option. The Dodgers, while their month of August wasn't the best against left-handed pitching, as we've seen in other months, still top 10 in baseball in OPS, low strikeout rate, decent walk rate. They're getting healthier in the lineup as well. For me, I got to go with the Dodgers in this game on the money line and run line at Dodger Stadium. And that's it. Those are the games for Tuesday in baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Put those baseball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, again, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.